Let's get back to a time when the most pressing issue in your life was not the Wi-Fi signal, but whether you'd survive another day without becoming a saber-toothed tiger's dinner. Yes, we're talking about the good old prehistoric days. But amidst all the excitement of discovering fire and inventing the wheel, our ancestors faced a silent adversary that didn't discriminate between cave people and kings: arthritis. Arthritis isn't just your grandma's complaint. It's as ancient as the dinosaurs themselves. In fact, some scientists believe that even T-Rex might have winced at the pain in its tiny arms. Not just because they were, well, tiny, but because of good old arthritic pain. Fast forward through time, and every civilization has had its own take on what causes it and how to fix it, with remedies ranging from the sensible to the downright wacky. Today, we have a much clearer understanding of arthritis, but the journey here was anything but straightforward. From attributing joint pain to angry gods and wandering wombs, yes, really, to the discovery of anti-inflammatory drugs and biologics, the story of arthritis is a fascinating tale of human resilience and ingenuity. So, join us as we time travel from the days when ouch was probably invented, through the ages of alchemy and beyond, to today's cutting-edge treatments. It's a journey through the history of arthritis, exploring how we've battled this ancient ailment with every tool at our disposal, from herbs and hot springs to biopharmaceuticals and beyond. And who knows, by the end of this, you might just find yourself feeling a little more grateful for modern medicine. Or at the very least, you'll have some interesting anecdotes for your next dinner party. The ancient aches. In an era where the concept of entertainment was likely a lively debate over the best way to sharpen a spear, our ancestors unwittingly faced a challenge that had nothing to do with hunting or gathering. This invisible adversary was arthritis, lurking in the joints of humans long before the concept of medical insurance or sick leave. The story of arthritis is as old as the bones themselves, literally. The first recorded case? Not in a medical journal, but etched in the very fossils of our dinosaur predecessors. Picture this: a T-Rex limping through the Cretaceous jungle, not because of an epic battle scar, but because of arthritis. While the image of a T-Rex might conjure up thoughts of ferocious battles and a fearsome predator ruling the ancient world, there's another, less-known side to these creatures that makes them a bit more relatable to us. Yes, even the mighty Tyrannosaurus Rex might have had to deal with the ancient world's version of a bad knee day. But how do we know this? And what evidence points to dinosaurs, specifically the T-Rex, suffering from arthritis? The key to unlocking the prehistoric health record of the T-Rex lies in its fossils. Paleontologists, acting as the detectives of the ancient world, have unearthed clues hidden within these stone-encased remains. In certain T-Rex specimens, researchers have identified abnormalities in the fossilized bones that closely resemble those caused by arthritis in humans. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence comes from the examination of T-Rex skeletons, with fused tail vertebrae and anomalies in their leg joints. These conditions in the fossils mirror the effects of arthritis, suggesting that these mighty creatures might have suffered from joint pain and stiffness. A notable example is the discovery of a T-Rex specimen with signs of what appears to be spondyloarthropathy, a form of inflammatory arthritis that affects the spine. The fossil showed fused vertebrae in the tail, a hallmark of this condition, indicating that the dinosaur likely experienced pain and limited mobility, similar to human sufferers of the disease. Additionally, paleopathology, the study of diseases in ancient times, has revealed that some T-Rex specimens had abnormal growths on their leg bones. These growths, known as osteophytes, are bony projections that form along joint margins and are a common indicator of osteoarthritis in humans. The presence of these osteophytes suggests that T-Rexes might have experienced the wear and tear on their joints that's all too familiar to humans diagnosed with osteoarthritis. Seems even the king of dinosaurs wasn't immune to the ravages of age and inflammation. Fast forward to the first humans, who were likely too busy surviving to complain about their joint pain. However, archaeologists have found evidence of arthritis in Egyptian mummies, and even in the spines of Neanderthals. It turns out arthritis is more vintage than your grandma's pearls. The ancient Egyptians weren't just building pyramids, they were also pioneering the study of arthritis. The Ebers Papyrus, an Egyptian medical papyrus dating back to 1550 BC, mentions arthritis in a way that suggests they were familiar with its symptoms. Their treatments, though, A mix of grounded-up herbs, incantations, and, on a good day, maybe a splash of honey. Not FDA approved, but when in Egypt. Then came Hippocrates, the father of medicine, who had a slightly better grip on the situation. Around 400 BC, he started classifying types of joint pain and even attempted to treat them with exercises and massages. He didn't quite hit the nail on the head every time. Bloodletting anyone? But he certainly set the ball rolling. The ancient Greeks and Romans had their own takes on arthritis, often involving baths in mineral or hot springs, which sounds pretty modern, except for the part where they also recommended drinking the bathwater. Yes, the same water you just bathed in. Yum. And let's not forget the famed Roman physician Galen, who coined the term arthritis itself. Galen's approach: a bit of this, a bit of that, and a whole lot of hoping for the best. His treatments ranged from the sensible, like exercise, to the eyebrow-raising, such as applying electric rays, the fish, not the zap, to the affected areas. Shocking indeed. Needless to say, arthritis has been a pain in the joints for as long as creatures have had joints to pain. Each ancient civilization brought its own flavor to the arthritis remedy cookbook, with a pinch of wisdom and a dash of desperation. But fear not, for as we journey forward in time, the treatments, thankfully, start getting less bizarre and more scientific. Middle Ages to Renaissance. As we leave the ancient world behind and its baths of questionable drinking practices, we venture into the Middle Ages and Renaissance, a time of knights, plagues, and art, but also a time when theories about arthritis could be, frankly, a bit out there. Let's saddle up our horses and ride through the medieval landscape of arthritis understanding, or misunderstanding. The Middle Ages were, to put it mildly, a quirky time for medicine. With the fall of the Roman Empire, Europe entered a period where scientific progress took a backseat to superstition and the occasional witch hunt. Arthritis, like many ailments, was often seen as a divine punishment, or the result of an imbalance in the body's humors. The solution? Prayer, potions, and sometimes a pilgrimage to a holy site because nothing says, "I'm sorry for whatever I did, please cure my arthritis," like a long walk on inflamed knees. Bloodletting was the medieval equivalent of a cure-all, based on the belief that it could balance the humors. Suffering from arthritis? Let some blood out. Headache? Bloodletting. Bad Wi-Fi signal? Probably also bloodletting. Leeches were the preferred tool for this, enjoying a medical renaissance long before humans did. Ah, the Renaissance. A breath of fresh air, where art flourished and science made a cautious comeback. Astrology was big, and your astrological sign was believed to influence your health. An Aquarius with arthritis? Must be because Mercury is in retrograde. Again. Alchemists, the chemists of yesteryear, concocted elaborate remedies, believing that arthritis was caused by too much of a certain substance in the body. Their solution? Consume gold. Not the color, the element. Despite the, let's say, creative approaches to treatment, this era did see some advancements in the understanding of arthritis. The concept of specific diseases began to take shape, separating arthritis from other conditions with similar symptoms. Anatomy became a serious subject of study, leading to a better understanding of the human body, though a cure for arthritis remained elusive. The Middle Ages and Renaissance were colorful periods in the history of arthritis treatment, mixing a little bit of science with a good dose of imagination. From divine retribution to humor imbalances, and from bloodletting to consuming gold, the journey of understanding arthritis was anything but dull. The dawn of modern rheumatology. Leaving behind the mystical remedies of the Middle Ages and the golden potions of the Renaissance, we step into the 19th century, an era marked by industrial smoke, the rustle of Victorian skirts, and the birth of a more scientific approach to medicine. This century was the runway for rheumatology's takeoff, propelling arthritis from the shadows of superstition into the light of empirical study. With the Enlightenment encouraging reason and science, physicians began to peel away layers of myth surrounding diseases, including arthritis. This period saw the foundational stones of modern rheumatology being laid down, with doctors starting to differentiate between various forms of joint diseases. Alfred Baring Garrod, A name not as catchy as Beyoncé, but equally significant in the rheumatology world. In 1859, Garrod distinguished between rheumatoid arthritis and gout, two conditions previously tossed in the same medical basket. His work, The Nature and Treatment of Gout and Rheumatic Gout, became the celestial navigation guide for navigating the murky waters of arthritis treatment. The microscope. This tiny instrument became a titan of diagnosis, allowing scientists to see the unseen. The ability to examine tissue and blood samples under a microscope was a game changer, leading to groundbreaking discoveries in cellular pathology and, eventually, the understanding of autoimmune responses in certain types of arthritis. As the century marched on, so did the understanding of arthritis. The term rheumatology began to gain traction, derived from the Greek word rheuma, which means that which flows as a river or stream, aptly describing the flowing pain of arthritis. This era saw the development of early pharmacological treatments, moving beyond the leeches and bloodletting of yore. Salicylates. Enter the scene. Willow bark, the natural predecessor of aspirin. Its pain-relieving and anti-inflammatory properties were harnessed more effectively as chemists isolated salicylic acid. Though it wouldn't win any taste awards, it provided a non-magical, evidence-based option for pain relief. Physical therapy emerges. Recognizing the importance of movement, physicians began recommending exercise and physical therapy to maintain joint function. This marked a significant shift from the lie-down-and-pray method to a more active approach in managing arthritis. As public understanding of arthritis improved, so did empathy for those affected. The 19th century saw the first stirrings of support networks and advocacy groups for arthritis patients, laying the groundwork for the comprehensive support systems we have today. Breakthroughs and battles. As the 20th century dawned, the world was on the cusp of a medical metamorphosis. The foundation laid in the 19th century began to bear fruit, and the understanding of arthritis entered a new era of enlightenment and innovation. This century was marked by wars and revolutions, but among its tumultuous events, the quiet battle against arthritis made significant advances. The early part of the century saw the classification of arthritis into more specific types, including osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and juvenile idiopathic arthritis, among others. This was crucial because treating arthritis is not a one-size-fits-all affair. Understanding the differences between these types allowed for more targeted and effective treatments. Pharmacological breakthroughs were a hallmark of this era. The development of corticosteroids in the 1940s revolutionized the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis, offering relief from inflammation and pain for many. This was a game changer, providing a new lease on life for patients who had been severely debilitated by their condition. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs, also made their debut, becoming a mainstay in the management of arthritis symptoms. These drugs, including aspirin, ibuprofen, and naproxen, worked by reducing inflammation, thus easing pain and improving joint function. For the first time, many people with arthritis could manage their symptoms effectively without resorting to more invasive treatments. But the 20th century's contributions weren't just in treatments. The establishment of organizations dedicated to arthritis research and patient support played a pivotal role in bringing the condition into the public eye and advocating for those affected. The Arthritis Foundation, founded in the United States in 1948, became a beacon of hope, funding research, providing educational resources, and supporting patients and their families. The latter half of the century saw the advent of biological therapies, marking a new frontier in the treatment of autoimmune forms of arthritis, such as rheumatoid arthritis. These drugs, including tumor necrosis factor, TNF, inhibitors, target specific components of the immune system, offering more precise treatment options and the potential to significantly alter the disease's course. As the century closed, the mapping of the human genome opened up new possibilities for understanding the genetic factors underlying arthritis, setting the stage for personalized medicine approaches in the 21st century. Researchers began to identify specific genes associated with an increased risk of developing certain types of arthritis, paving the way for targeted prevention strategies and treatments. The 20th century transformed arthritis from a misunderstood affliction often relegated to the realm of inevitable aging or divine punishment, into a condition that could be confronted with scientific understanding and innovation. The progress made during this time laid the groundwork for the advances we see today, offering hope and relief to millions worldwide. The age of biologics and beyond. As we catapult into the 21st century, armed with a burgeoning arsenal of medical knowledge and technological prowess, the fight against arthritis is not just continuing, it's evolving at a pace that would have made our ancestors' heads spin, without causing neck arthritis, hopefully. This era is marked by an explosion of biologic drugs, medicines that are not merely drugs, but veritable microscopic ninjas, targeting specific molecules within the immune system. Their introduction was like flipping the script for autoimmune arthritis treatment. People who once faced daily battles with pain and immobility now had options that could halt the disease in its tracks, reducing inflammation and, in some cases, inducing remission. These drugs, however, come with names that sound like the alphabet threw up on a Scrabble board. Adalimumab, etanercept, infliximab. Try saying those 5 times fast after a glass of wine. And then there's the rise of personalized medicine, a fancy way of saying doctors can now tailor treatments to the individual, not just based on a one-size-fits-all approach. With advances in genetic testing, it's becoming possible to predict not just who is at risk for certain types of arthritis, but also which treatments will work best for them. But wait, there's more. Stem cell therapy is on the horizon, promising to repair damaged tissues in joints, potentially reversing arthritis damage. It's as close to a magic wand as modern science gets, offering the tantalizing possibility of not just managing arthritis but curing it. The research is still in early stages, but the potential is huge, much like the excitement surrounding it. Of course, technology isn't just revolutionizing treatment. It's changing how we manage arthritis on a day-to-day basis. Smartphone apps can now track symptoms, medications, and even predict flare-ups, all while fitting snugly in your pocket. Wearable devices monitor activity levels and encourage movement, gently nudging you to keep those joints in motion because, as the old adage goes, use it or lose it. An adage that's particularly punchy when you're trying to outrun arthritis. The internet, too, has transformed the landscape of support for arthritis sufferers. Online communities provide a platform for sharing stories, advice, and encouragement, proving that while arthritis may be ancient, the ways in which we come together to fight it are thoroughly modern. Living with arthritis today. As we continue to march boldly into the future, with our sights set on conquering arthritis once and for all, we find ourselves in an age where technology and medicine converge in ways that would make sci-fi writers blush. Welcome to the era of arthritis management, where "there's an app for that" isn't just a catchy phrase. It's a lifeline to millions. Let's talk about the modern warrior's toolkit against arthritis, shall we? First up, we have apps that track your every ache, pain, and grunt. Gone are the days of wondering if that pizza you ate last night is to blame for your swollen knees. Now, you can pinpoint the culprit with the precision of a detective. These apps not only track symptoms but also mood, weather, and even your diet. Because yes, sometimes pizza is the enemy. Then there's the wearable tech revolution. These gadgets aren't just for counting steps or telling time, they're mini physiotherapists strapped to your wrist. They remind you to move, stretch, and maybe do a little jig, ensuring your joints stay as lubricated as a politician at a fundraising dinner. And if you're not moving enough, expect a buzz, beep, or gentle scolding, because wearable tech is like a helicopter parent for your health. Let's not forget the online communities. In the old days, finding someone to commiserate with about your arthritis might have meant a trip to the local community center. Now, support is as close as your nearest device, available 24/7. These communities are like having a supportive best friend, life coach, and medical advisor rolled into one, always there to offer a virtual shoulder to cry on or a well-timed joke. As for treatments, the advancements are nothing short of spectacular. Researchers are now talking about designer drugs tailored to your genetic makeup, turning arthritis treatment into a bespoke experience. It's like having a suit tailor-made for you, but instead of fabric and threads, it's made of molecules and science. And then there's the cutting-edge research into gene editing and stem cell therapy, promising a future where arthritis might be as easily cured as a common cold. We're talking about going from merely managing symptoms to potentially fixing the underlying cause, making arthritis a thing of the past. It's ambitious, sure, but so was landing on the moon. And look how that turned out.